Mappy Land on NES is a semi-sequel to an arcade game simply called Mappy. In the original, you played as a police officer mouse named Mappy, who invades a mansion of cats to retrieve stolen goods. The Nintendo version is similar, except instead of a mansion, you've got 8 distinct stages, each with 4 different variations, making up a total of 32 levels. Your objective in each level is to collect 6 items, and then you're allowed past the gateway at the end, which advances you to the next stage. There are no bosses, you just collect a bunch of crap, avoid confrontation with enemies, and move on to the next level. It sounds kinda boring, doesn't it? But come on, the game's gotta be much deeper than this, right? Well, let's take a look at the story. You're Mappy, and judging by the cover art, it looks like he's a take-no-prisoners, badass police officer rodent. I mean, he's got the bat in his hand, he looks kinda pissed, he's ready to do some damage, right? Well, it turns out that during the course of the game, Mappy's on vacation, so I guess there goes the whole theme about him being a cop. He wants to marry his girlfriend Mapiko, a name which doesn't sound too feminine, but he needs to retrieve the ring that was stolen by the Gucci gang, who I'm assuming are all these cats that are after you. And it's also Mapiko's birthday, and Mappy bought a bunch of presents for her. Okay, so were the presents stolen too? They don't mention that, they just matter-of-factly say it's her birthday. There are a total of 4 stories, and there are 8 stages in each. It's kinda like in Mario, where you had 8 worlds and 4 stages each, only it's opposite. You have 4 worlds and 8 stages each. You can select a stage right from the beginning. You can pick any of the 4 stories, but for some strange reason, you're only allowed to select the 1, 3, 5, and 7 stages. Anyway, in the first story, you're supposed to get birthday presents from Mapiko. Second story is supposed to retrieve a wedding ring for their wedding. Third story is supposed to find a Christmas tree for a Christmas party. And in the 4th story, you're supposed to find a ball from Happy Jr.'s birthday. So wait, what about this stolen ring? Is that the engagement ring they're talking about? Well, why are there so many rings in story 2? Aren't you supposed to buy just one ring? I thought that was the tradition of getting married. And if they're stolen, why are they all left out in the open? The plot holes are so big that Roseanne might be able to fit into one. Anyway, enough with the story. Let's look at the gameplay. So you bounce on these trampolines to get a boost to any of the platforms. And while you're on the trampoline, you're immune to damage from an enemy. But the trampoline changes colors each time you bounce on it, from blue to yellow to white to red, then it disappears and you die. Controlling Mappy is below average at best. First of all, he's a lot slower than all these damn cats. And look at how high he jumps, or how low he jumps would be more accurate. He has barely any hang time and barely gets off the ground, so jumping over enemies is nearly impossible unless you time it 100% perfectly. Ah, fuck! You're better off just running away from them. You have a much better chance of survival. You might be asking, can you attack instead of running away like a pussy? Well, sort of. You pick up these weapons you can drop at any time. This swinging dildo, or whatever it is, will cause the kittens to dance, while these coins keep the big guys in check. There's also pots that cause the cats to faint, and there are fish that both of them chase after. That's right, I forgot to mention that there are several cats and one big dude that wears a different costume in each level. Only difference really is that the big guys are faster, but stupider, and the weapons will only affect one or the other. The problem with using these weapons is that you can't change which weapon you want to drop. Whichever one you picked up last, that's the one selected. In each stage there are traps you can set off to wipe some of the cats off the screen temporarily. Unfortunately, most of them suck. And did I mention the names of these enemies? I didn't? Well, the cats are called Mukies, and the big guys are called Nyamkos? What? I'm just gonna call them cats, because I don't want to be saying Mukies 50 times in this video. The word will sound really goofy after hearing it so often. Watch. Mukies, 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 Mukies. See? Doesn't that sound fucking retarded? So besides the stupid names, notice another thing that's kinda weird about these enemies. Like how you're twice the size of them? You're a cop. Don't you have at least some combat training? Don't be a pussy. Stomp those little fuckers. The graphics are pretty bad too. The backgrounds are so monocolored and don't have any shading whatsoever. They look like they were drawn by kindergartners. There's not much in the animation department either. Look at how there's practically no frames when you run. And what's with this sprite? Why are his arms extended like he's walking on a tightrope? Are the platforms he's walking on really that narrow? The level design is redundant as all hell. With a few exceptions, every stage has 4 levels of platforms with the trampolines and ladders in different spots, and they're all really short. The only thing keeping the stages distinct from each other are the backgrounds and colors. The music, on the other hand, is a bright spot. The songs aren't masterpieces, but they're pretty good. You're actually probably better off buying the soundtrack than the game, providing it actually exists. So I'm going to do this walkthrough portion a little differently than normal. Because there are 8 worlds of stories that have 4 variations of each of the 8 stages, I'm going to show all 4 variations of each stage at the same time rather than going around in 4 circles. So anyway, level 1 is a railroad. Worlds 1 and 2 are pretty easy, you just grab your shit and get out. But World 3 might give you some problems. Like this dead end that you run into over here. The wall blends right in with the background, so you think it's the end of the train from a distance. But by the time you get to it, you're pretty much fucked. There are also these ladders that are cut in half, and despite the fact that they should be within reach, you can't climb from underneath. Come on, Mappy, grab the ladder, it's right there. Ah, god damn it! You can use these pulleys to swing yourself across and kick some cats to the curb. In Worlds 3 and 4, you can't advance to the next level after simply grabbing all the items. Some asshole is standing in your way and won't let you pass. So you've got to hop on the train to this sub-area and grab the ticket so you can get out. Throughout the game, some levels will require you to go through one of these sub-areas and get an item before you can actually leave. I find it kinda odd, too, that you get a ticket from inside the train, then use it to walk out of the city. Does that make any sense? Stage 2 is out west. You've got these punching bags that you can hit to wipe out some of the cats that are following you. Some of them bleed right in with the red background, so watch out for them. You can also trigger this cannon that sits up here on this building. I actually discovered this relatively recently. What the hell, I died from that? That's like 10 feet off the ground. I can't survive that? Yeah, if you land on the ground from a level up or more, then you die. If you bounce on a trampoline first, then you're okay, but if you go right through one and hit the ground, you're dead. But if you fall through a trampoline and land on a ladder, you're safe. Knowing what you can and cannot do in this game isn't too obvious. So in World 4, you'll have to go into the bar and grab this thing that'll let you pass to the next stage. Stage 3 is the tropical world. So much for the transitions making any sense. You took the train out west. Okay, that works. But then you go from that to what's supposed to resemble a Hawaii island at night. So anyway, you get these bombs that hang down off the ceilings. You knock them to the ground, and if any of the enemies walk over it, they fly out into the sky and blow up. They're supposed to be fireworks, but whoever heard of fireworks that don't go off until after you light it and make contact with it? I say knock down every one that you run past. It can't hurt. Wanna see some bullshit? In World 4, if you slip into this little area here, you're stuck. There's no way you can possibly get out alive. You have to wait till the cats come down and kill you. What the fuck is that shit? And what's worse is that it's so easy to fall into the trap since the only way around is up top. In Worlds 2, 3, and 4, you have to go through sub-areas to get out of the stage. It's kind of frustrating, but not as bad as Stage 4 of the jungle.